What is going on, dudes and dudettes? It is Deadbolt here, bringing back some more horror content, and today we got something walks whistling past my house every night at 3:03. Scary stories from r/Nosleep, which I'm guessing that's a Reddit thread. I'm not on Reddit, but I've been watching a lot of Reddit videos, like just, you know, what are they? Here, hold on. Like videos like these. They're pretty fun. I like them. It's from Dark Somnium again. I think this is the same channel that, oh, The Melancholy of Herbert Solomon. But I don't think I reacted to that one here. I don't think. This is the channel I reacted to the alien one, the Quiet Sky, I think. This video was a recommendation from a subscriber, Brandon Lazelle, right here. So yeah, thank you for recommending. But because this is a narration, I feel like I should do this like as a tradition every time we do like one of these creepypasta narrations, you know, scary stories. We're going 2012 YouTuber in this bitch. All right, up. Oh Jesus! Oh my God! You can only see my teeth. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. Oh my God! It's not even, my camera's not focused on me. Nah, I'm right here. I still exist. I know I'm dark, but come on now. Oh my God. Wait, yeah, I want to do it again. Sorry. I know, I'm a kid playing with a camera. It's not doing it anymore. It's okay. There we go. I'm leaving Gara's light on. He needs that UVB. I can't just turn that off. I can't just be like, you know what, Gara, you don't need to process your calcium, your vitamin D3 today for this video. I mean, it would be only 20 minutes, but still. Gara needs his beauty bask, I guess. But alrighty, let's get into this.
Every night, no matter the weather, something walks down our street, whistling softly. You can only hear it if you're in the living room or the kitchen when they walk.
What's happening? Oh, that's why. My volume on my headset was all the way down. I was like, wait, I see the audio track on OBS going up and down like somebody's talking, but I'm not hearing nothing. All right, let's start over. There we go. Okay.
Every night,
Oh
no
gosh.
matter the weather, something walks down our street, whistling softly. You can only hear it if you're in the living room or the kitchen when they walk by, and it always starts at exactly 3:03. The sound is faint at first, somewhere near the beginning of the lane near the Carson place. When I was younger, my sister and I would sneak into the kitchen some nights to listen. Mom and Dad didn't like that, and we'd catch hell if they found us out there, but they were never too hard on us, since we always stuck to the one big rule. Don't try to look at whatever was whistling.
That's a red flag. That's a red flag if ever I've seen it. But there's something ominous about not looking at it, man. That your parents told you not to look at it. That would scare the fuck out of me. That would be like, damn, it's Slenderman out there. You can't look at him. If you do, you're dead, you know. That would scare the fuck out of me.
My neighborhood is a funny place. I've lived here since I was 6, and I love it. The houses are small, but well kept. Good-sized yards, and plenty of places to roam. There are a lot of other kids here my age. I turned 13 back in October. We grew up together, and would always play Foursquare in the cul-de-sac, or roam around
Foursquare.
from back porch to back porch in the summer.
That game's so
This was
fun.
a good place to grow up. I'm old enough to see it. And there's only 2 strange things here. The night whistling and the good luck. My dad is a strong guy, tall and calm. He has an accent since he moved to the US as a kid. His family, my grandparents, they're from the islands. That's what they call it. My dad, the only time he isn't calm is if the whistler comes up. He talks a little quicker then. Eyes move faster, and he tells us not to think about it too much and to always remember the one rule. The big rule.
That's creating
Don't try
more
to look
curiosity.
outside when the whistler goes past. Not that we could look even if we wanted. See, there are shutters on the inside of every window. Thick pieces of heavy canvas that pull down from the top and latch to the bottom of the window frame. Each latch even has a small lock about the size of what you'd find on a diary. My dad locks those shutters every night before we all go to bed and keeps the key in his room. My mom, I don't know what she thinks about the whistling. I've seen her out in the living room before after 3:03. When the sound starts, I could see her if I cracked my door open just an inch to peek. She's not out there often. At least, I haven't caught her much. But once or twice a month, I think she sits out there on the big red couch just listening. The Whistler has the same tune every night.
Oh. Sound effects. Fancy. That makes it a lot scarier. I'm uneasy now. Because, like, what if they jump scare me? Please don't. I'm, like, waiting for that figure right there. Just to, like, randomly just turn its head and look at me, you know? Or, like, I don't know. I kind of, like, see a little bit of a face in the moon for some reason. I don't think there is one, but, like, just when I look around this thing, like, how it's moving, and I just look at the moon, it kind of looks like a face. The only thing I know about parenting is that it's hard. And, like, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't type thing. If you keep telling your kids don't do something, the curiosity is going to build up in them and they're going to want to do what you're telling them not to do. But also, if it's like a life or death situation, it's like, what do you do? I feel like you have to tell them, because if you don't, they're just going to do it anyways. So, like, you'd have to install safety measures. Just get rid of the windows. Pull a Sims 4 when I get low on money. Just sell your windows, bro.
Remember how I said there are two odd things about where I live?
The luck?
Besides our night whistler, everyone in my neighborhood is really lucky. It's hard to explain, and Dad doesn't like us talking about this part much either. But good things just seem to happen to the people around here a lot.
Like?
Usually it's small things, winning a radio contest or getting an unexpected promotion at work or finding some arrowheads buried in the yard. You know,
That's
the
cool.
authentic kind.
Word.
The weather's pretty good, and there's no crime, and everybody's gardens bloom extra bright in the fall. A million little blessings I've heard Mom say about living here. But the main reason we stay here, why we moved back here in the first place, is my sister Nola. She was born very sick, something with her lungs. We
And it
couldn't
cured
even
her?
bring her home when she was born, only visit her in the hospital. She was so small, I remember. Small even compared to the other babies. A machine had to breathe for her. We moved into our house here to be closer to the hospital. As soon as we moved here, Nola started getting better. The doctors couldn't figure it out. They chalked it up to whatever they were doing, but we all could tell they were confused. But my parents knew. Even
Just
I knew.
I'm taking the credit,
Nola
all
getting
right?
better was just another of the million little blessings we got for living in our neighborhood. So that's why we stayed, even after we found out that for every small miracle that happens here every day, now and then, some bad things happen. But they only
Okay.
happen if you look for the Whistler.
Ah. Okay, I think that's a good trade-off then. Like, if you look at him, something bad happens to you, like you die or something. Like, I feel like in this case, the good outweighs the bad. Because, I mean, what? Somebody whistles at 3, and if you look at them, I don't know what happens, but let's just say you die, even if it's something as drastic as that. Most people are asleep at this time of night, you know? I mean, I'm not, because I'm up editing, but, like, you know, most normal people are asleep. And even if they aren't, are they really going to look outside? Like, if they do know this, are they going to look outside, you know? Probably not, you know? And even if they don't, are they going to look outside? Also, probably not. Like, why would they get up off their ass to look at a whistler?
Our neighborhood has a welcoming committee. They show up with macaroni casserole and a gift
Word?
basket and a manila folder whenever someone new moves in. They're very friendly. 4 people showed up when we moved in 7 years ago. The committee made small talk, gave me a Snickers bar, and took turns holding Nola.
Oh,
It was her first week out of the hospital, so they were extra careful. Then the committee asked to speak to my parents in private, so I was sent to my room, where I still managed to hear nearly every word. The welcoming committee told my parents about how nice the neighborhood was. Really exceptionally hard to explain kind of nice. And then they told my parents about the even harder to explain whistling that happened every morning at 3:03 and ended at the tick of 3:05.
it's
The
only
group,
2 minutes.
Our new neighbors warned my parents that the whistling was quiet, would never harm or hurt us as long as we didn't look for what was making the sound. This part they stressed, and I pushed my ear into the door, straining to hear them. People who went looking for the whistler had their luck change, sometimes tragically. A
Yep.
black cloud would hang over anyone that looked. Anything that could go wrong would. The manila envelope the committee brought over contained newspaper clippings, stories about car crashes and ruined lives, public deaths and freak accidents. Not everyone dies, I heard the head of the committee tell my dad, but the life goes out of them. Even if they live, there's no light in them ever again. No presence.
Bro.
My mom, I could tell she wasn't taking it seriously. She kept asking if this was some kind of prank they play on new neighbors. At one point, my mom got angry, accused the committee of trying to scare us out of our new home, asked them if they were racist on the account of my dad being from the islands. My dad calmed her down, told her he could tell our new neighbors were sincere and that they were just trying to help us. He explained that he grew up hearing these kinds of stories from his mom, and that he knew there were strange things that walked among us.
Bro, okay. I feel like our protagonist, our narrator here, is gonna look at, like, it has to be, like, it's scary stories. He has to look at the being. I'm just saying, he's an idiot. Like, I get being a kid. Like, oh my god, he is a kid. I need to remember that. Man, you fuck up. It's 2 minutes every night, and if you just ignore it, if you just go to sleep, you're fine. You're better than fine. But no, you have to let your curiosity get the best of you and ruin your life. Like, oh my god. And the thing is, like, yeah, he's a kid, but he heard all this. He heard that his dad agreed. Like, he's like, hey, yeah, there's probably some validity to this. He heard that if you look, your life, you just get perpetually depressed, etc. There's a possibility of death, and, and he still looks. I mean, I guess I'm jumping the gun. I don't know if he does look, but I'm just guessing because he's the protagonist here. He's narrating. It's in his point of view. It's either going to be him or somebody close to him. Probably his mom, actually, now that I think about it. He said that she was just like, staring blankly in the couch or whatever. But all right, let's get back into this.
These strange things were good, and some were bad, but most were just different. After the committee left, my dad went out to the hardware store, bought the canvas blinds, the latches, and the locks, and installed them on every window in the house after dinner.
Smart man.
The first night in our new house, I crept out of my room at 3 a.m.
You bastard.
To find my dad awake, sitting on the living room couch, holding my baby sister. My dad held up his finger in a shush motion, but patted the couch next to him. I sat, and we waited. At exactly 3:03, we heard the whistling.
What's wrong with you?
It came and it went, just like our neighbors said. The whistling returns each night, and we never look, and we enjoy our million little blessings every day.
Mm-hmm. As you should.
On her own, and she grows into a strong, clever girl. My dad even joined the welcoming committee. We don't get new neighbors often. Why would anyone want to leave? But when a new family moves in, my dad and the committee bring them macaroni casserole, the gift basket, and the manila folder.
Really? All of you do?
I can always tell by the look on my dad's face when he comes back if the family took the committee seriously or if we'd be getting new neighbors again very soon. Not long ago, the family moved in directly next to us. The previous owner, Miss Maddie, passed away at the age of 105.
Jeez.
She'd lived a good, long life. Our neighbors seemed like they'd fit in just fine. They believed the welcoming committee and took my dad's advice about the locking shutters since they had a young child of their own. Whatever newspaper clippings were in the manila envelope, whatever evidence, my dad never let us see. But I imagine it must have been awfully convincing since our neighbors got along with no issue for the first month. One night, when our new neighbors had to leave town, they sent their son, Holden, to stay with us. He was 12, a year under me in school. I didn't know him well before that night, but as soon as his parents dropped him off after dinner, I could tell it was going to be a bad time. Do you know who was always out there whistling every night?
Oh my god.
Holden asked me the moment the adults left the room. The three of us were sitting in the den, some Disney movie playing idly on the TV. My sister and I exchanged a glance. We don't talk about it, I said. I think it's that weirdo that lives in the big yellow house in the corner,
Word.
Holden said.
Mr. Tolls?
My sister asked.
No way. He's really nice.
Holden shrugged. Must be a psycho killer then. Nola tensed. We don't talk about it, I repeated. Let's go in my room and play Nintendo. We spent the next few hours playing games, eating popcorn, and then watching movies. A typical sleepover, but I could see Holden was getting antsy. After my parents had wished us a good night, locked the blinds, and gone to bed, Holden stood up from his beanbag and walked over to where Nola and I were sitting on my bed. Have you ever even tried looking? He asked.
Oh my God.
It's nearly time. Like most sleepovers, we'd conveniently ignored any suggestion of a bedtime. I was shocked to see he was right. It was almost 3 a.m. I sighed. We don't... See, I can't. I can't even try to look because my dad locks the blinds every night and hides the key. He continued, ignoring me.
So does our dad.
Nola said. No, replied Holden. No, he doesn't. You saw him do it, I said, a little sharper than I meant to sound. Holden grinned. Your dad locks the blinds, yeah, but he doesn't hide the key. He keeps it right on his keychain. So?
Oh my God.
Asked, worried I already knew what he would say next. Because I had noticed that my dad didn't bother hiding the key anymore after all these years, because he knew we took it seriously. So, after your dad locked up, but before your parents went to bed, I went to the bathroom.
Oh my God.
On my way, I may have peeked into their room, and I may have seen your dad's keychain on his nightstand.
You're getting kicked out. What the hell? You don't go to somebody's house and steal stuff? Even if this is a weird, like, supernatural world where, you know, there's a whistling Slender Man walking around the neighborhood. You have manners. What's wrong with you? You're new here. You deserve what's happened. Well, no, you probably don't deserve to die, but, like, you deserve an ass whooping for that. You know? But honestly, if I was this kid, like, he already sounds done with him. I'd just be like, fuck it. If you want to look, you go ahead and look. But I'm staying here and enjoying my blessings.
And I maybe went and borrowed the key to the blinds. Nola and I stared, and his grin only grew wider. You're lying, I said. Holden shrugged. You can check if you want. Just open your parents' door and look. You'll see his keychain right there on the nightstand. Stay here, I told both of them. Don't move a muscle. I hurried over to my parents' room, but hesitated at the door.
Oh, he didn't take you yet.
I wasn't lying. My dad would be angry. Beyond angry. I was scared thinking about it, but more scared of an open window with the whistler right outside. I opened the door, barely an inch, and looked in, but it was too dark to see. Taking a deep breath, I walked into the room. 2 steps into the dark, and I froze. The whistling started, and I could hear it clearly, from my parents' room. I never realized, but they must have heard the sound every night since we moved into the house. They never told us. I don't think I could have slept through it. I stood there, listening to the whistling come closer, unsure whether I should turn on the lights or call out for my dad. Soft sounds from the living room brought me back to reality. Nola! I yelled, running out of my parents' room. Holden and Nola were standing near the front door next to the window. Holden wasn't lying. I could see him fumbling with the lock on one of the blinds. I heard a click. He did have the key.
Oh my God.
Holden
Wait,
let
so
out
he
a
did?
quick laugh. Nola stood next to him, hunched up, afraid but maybe curious. The whistling was right outside of our house now. I think I made a sound, called out.
This is getting
I
intense.
can't remember. Time felt frozen, the clock hands nailed to the face. But I found myself moving. I'm not fast. I've never been athletic.
Just go to your room,
Somehow,
bro.
though, I covered the space between myself and Nola in a moment. My eyes were locked on her, but I heard Holden pull the blind all the way down so it could release. I heard the snap of it start to raise, and I heard the whistling just on the other side of the window. But I had my arms around Nola, and I turned so she
Goddamn
was
kids.
facing away from the window. At the same time, I jammed my eyes shut, and the blinds whipped open. The whistling stopped. I felt Nola shaking in my arms.
You screwed them.
Okay, I told her. Don't turn around. We were positioned so that she was facing back towards the hallway, and I was facing the window. My eyes were still closed, and I felt her nod into my shoulder. I reached out with the arm not holding Nola to try to touch Holden. My hand brushed against his arm. He was shaking worse than Nola. Holden? I asked. Silence. I reached past him and gingerly felt for the window, eyes still sealed shut. The glass was cold against my fingertips, colder than it should have been for the time of the year. I moved my hand up the window, searching for the string to the blind. The glass began to get warmer, and the further I reached, there was a gentle hum feeding back into my fingertips.
Oh no.
I tried not to think about what might be on the other side of the window. Finally, I touched the string and yanked the blind shut. I opened my eyes. In the dim light leaking out from the kitchen, I could make out Holden, pale and small, staring at the now closed window. "Holden?" I asked
You
again.
idiot.
He turned towards me and he screamed. Everything became a flurry of emotion. Light sparked to life in the hallway, then the living room. My parents' footsteps thudded across the hardwood floor. I didn't turn to look back at them. My eyes were glued to Holden. He was pale, had bit his lips so hard that there was a thin red line of blood running down his chin, and he'd wet himself.
Oh my God.
My dad asked from behind me. I managed to swivel away from Holden and look back. He looked. I'd never seen my dad scared before, but I saw it that night, in that moment. An old, ugly tear stitched on his face. A parent's fear. "Just Holden?" He mouthed to me. I nodded yes. My dad let out a sigh.
Did his
He
sister
looked
look?
so relieved I nearly expected him to cheer. But then he turned to Holden, and my dad's face changed. I
Yeah,
wondered if he felt bad for feeling good that Holden was the only one that looked.
I wouldn't.
There was a knock at the door.
Oh, fuck
We all
no.
froze. Holden whimpered.
Don't answer it.
My mom said. She stood at the threshold of the hall. I always thought she was a skeptic and just humored my dad about the window and the whistler, but that night, we were all believers. I noticed that both my parents held baseball bats they must have taken from their bedroom. The knock came again.
Oh, no,
a little
that sounds so
louder this
real.
time. "Please don't open the door," Holden whispered. My dad walked over to him and hugged him close. "We won't," my dad promised.
I would have been like, here you go, you little bastard. You wanted to see him. You take a good look. Just be a dick. You brought this thing to their house, man. Like, not only did you steal a key, you just unleashed who even knows what it is, demon, a monster, both onto their house. It's on their front door now, and it's your fault. You deserve this.
Still holding his bat. "Nothing is coming in here tonight." This time the knocking was loud enough to rattle the door. Holden screamed again, and Nola clutched her arms around my neck. My mom came over and knelt down next to us, wrapping my sister and me close.
Call the police.
My mom whispered to my dad. The knocking instantly stopped. My dad looked over his shoulder at us. "Do you think—" He was cut off by frantic knocking that trailed off to a polite
Call the police.
something said from the other side of the door. The
Oh,
voice from outside sounded exactly like my mom, like a parrot repeating the words back to her.
oh no.
My mom pulled us closer.
Call the police. Please stop.
I heard
Dude,
her whisper to herself.
This
"I
is
don't think
creepy."
calling them will help," my dad said. "How will we know when they're the ones at the door?" The knocking came back harder than before. The door shook. Then
oh
it
damn it,
stopped.
Holden.
After a long moment, I heard the knocking again, but it was coming from our back door. We all turned around towards the back door, but the knocking immediately returned to the front door. Front to back to front. Loud, then quiet, then loud again. Suddenly the sound was coming from both doors at once. Big, heavy blows like a sledgehammer. Then something started rapping against all the windows in the house, and then the walls. It was like we were living inside a drum with a dozen people trying to play it at once. Or we were a turtle and something was attempting to claw us out of our shell. "Stop!" Holden yelled. The knocking died. "I won't tell," Holden said, staring at the door. "I promise I won't tell anyone what I saw. Just please go away." We waited for nearly a minute.
This is why you have a
heard
gun.
A soft tap coming from the window Holden had looked through earlier. Holden started to cry, sobbing like a prisoner watching gallows being built outside their cell. My dad held him, brushing his hair, but never lied to him, never told him things would be okay. The tapping at the window went
'Cause
on
they
for
ain't.
the rest of the night.
And that's on
We
you.
huddled together in the living room for I don't know how long. Eventually, my mom tried to take us kids into my room while my dad stayed to watch the door. But But the second we moved into my bedroom, the knocking came back, so loud it was impossible to ignore. I was afraid the door couldn't take it. We went back into the living room and the knocking stopped. Only the tap on the window remained. None of us slept that night. The tapping stopped at around 7 a.m. That's about the time the sun comes up.
Just kill knife, Five Nights at Freddy's.
2 hours before my dad opened the blinds from one window. He made us all go back to my parents' bedroom. I heard him open the door and then come back in. "Okay," he told us. "It's done." Holden's parents came back around lunchtime. My mom and dad walked Holden over to his house and they all went inside for quite a while. Nola and I watched from the window. She stuck to me the whole day, right at my side, sometimes holding my hand. When my parents came back, they looked grim, but wouldn't tell us what they said to Holden's family.
Your son's an idiot.
So we all spent the day together, ordered pizza, and watched movies. That night, everyone slept in my room. Nola and my mom in the bed with me, my dad in the chair he'd pulled over. There was no knocking that night, or any night since. We didn't see much of Holden or his parents for the rest of that week, but by Tuesday, there was a moving truck in their driveway.
Yeah,
Nola and I watched them packing up the whole afternoon after school. What sticks with me most is how tired Holden and his parents looked. All three had the same pallor, grim mouths, and lightless eyes.
You ruined it for all of them.
Across the street, I could tell something was very wrong. Holden and his family were gone before sunset. I remember what the original welcoming committee said to my parents when we moved in. Not everyone who looks at the Whistler dies, but even those that live have the light go out of them, and the rest of their lives are full of misfortune. A million little tragedies. I think Holden's parents must have looked, either to comfort him if they didn't believe, or share the burden if they did. I watch Nola some days, happy and young and alive, and I wonder if I'd been slower, if she'd looked out the window that night. Would I have looked too, to comfort her, to share that burden? I'm glad I don't have to find out. It's been 2 months since the night Holden stayed here. We still live in that house, in that neighborhood. We still hear our Whistler walking past every night. The blessings, the luck, the good things here are too good to leave, but we're careful. We don't have friends over to spend the night anymore, and my dad hides the key to the blinds very, very well. Not that I've gone looking. Some things you just don't need to look for.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I was wrong about our protagonist. I guess he does have a brain on that shoulder, on those shoulders. He saw what happened. He was like, hell no, that ain't gonna happen to me. Fuck, I kind of want to know what it looked like what he saw. Like, I'm curious now. I'm gonna be the new Holden or whatever his name was. Damn, I kind of want more information. Let me read the comments. I don't see him as a villain, really. The Whistler, he's somehow linked to the good. It may just be his condition. You don't question him. He whistles, you succeed. Like he wants or needs to be undisturbed to be good. Yeah, I see that. Like, you literally have to do nothing. Like, that's all that he asks, and you get all these blessings. Like, even, like, I don't know what it is. I'm guessing the Whistler is also the cause of the good luck. So all you have to do is nothing. Don't look at him, and you get all the good stuff. You know, you get all the blessings and the good luck. And that's just 2 minutes a night. But if you do, then yeah, I still think, I agree. I think he is a good guy. Adding little sound effects is more than enough to make the story a million times more enjoyable. I agree. Because, like, those sound effects, I was on the edge of my seat that whole time, honestly. Like, as soon as they started adding sound effects, I got very, very, like, I don't know, it's not scared, but, like, I was on the tip of my toes, you know, I was uneasy. Yeah, I think that's the good word for it. Ha, imagine you're living in a car and you park in this neighborhood to sleep. Bro, that's the worst luck. Wait, there's a reply from Dark Somnium and others. Let me, haha, okay, yeah, he thought it was funny. I thought he was going to give an explanation why that can't happen or something. No, he's just like, ha, guess they're fucked, huh? When you pause the video and the whistling is still going. When you pause the video and they're still knocking. Like, I'm in danger. But yeah, I thought about it. When he says shutters, Is he talking about, here, I'll look it up real quick. Yeah. Is he talking about these, like in malls, you know, the stores, they have these, or like lockup units or garages, you know, like these metal things? Because if he's just talking about blinds or like some sort of like blind that locks, I'd rather, if I was a father and had children and a family I wanted to protect from this, you know, whistler, I would get these and put them on the windows somehow. I'd figure it out. I like tinkering with stuff. I'll make it work on all the windows and make sure they're locked, and just, it's gonna like be shit kind of. Like, yeah, it would kind of feel like a prison a bit for the kids, but like it's literally only 2 minutes a night. Like I'd probably just lock them before I go to sleep, because who's gonna stay up until, well, I guess I do, but like when I get old, and you know, all old people go to bed at like 7 p.m, you know, that's what I would do just before I go to sleep. Put all the shutters down. Maybe like, what is it? The Purge? They have like a whole like house shield, you know, like I would do that. Just, I wouldn't mess around with this thing, man. Nuh-uh. Because I feel like the only thing worse than dying is like living a life without happiness, like how they look like. That happened to them. Like they just had all the life drained from them and they just look sad and, you know, misfortunate for life. I'd rather be dead, but also I don't want to die either. So, you know, pull those shutters down. But alrighty, that was a great video from the Dark Somnium. Be sure to like and subscribe to their channel. That was amazing. Oh gosh, that face almost scared the crap out of me. But alright guys, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, everybody. Bye-bye.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, got some egos to the face, baby, I don't need no